Hi guys, welcome to Bath Fizz and Foam. My name is Robyn Smith, and we're gonna have face-to-face Friday today. I apologize if the connection goes in and out because we're having storms here right now. So I'm hoping that I stay online the whole time, but if I don't, then I apologize. Really thirsty, so I had to bring some water from my house. Just parched, actually. Really thirsty today. Alright, put my water up on a shelf away from where I'm making things. Alright, so today I'm making some embeds, and that's a risky move for me because embeds are not like the high humidity recipe. They can't just hang and roll with the punches, right? They're a lot more subject to the whims of the bath bomb gods, okay? And there's my embeds don't even have hardener in my recipe, so it's just a risk. But I'm gonna throw some cream of tartar into my embeds today. I don't even need to use my scale. I already had my baking soda weighed out. I'm gonna throw some cream of tartar in my recipe today and see if that helps them stick together a little bit. I'm doing my baking soda first, and this is why I always encourage people to sift their ingredients. You can see how clumpy that is. So I'm gonna get my baking soda going because we're gonna use dyes, and we're gonna quick bloom some dyes. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. I'm gonna take some, I'll weigh it. I don't normally weigh it, I usually just eyeball it, but I'll weigh it for you guys. I'm gonna take some distilled water. It's 11 grams. I don't think that's enough though. Okay, that's 20 grams. So I'm gonna take some distilled water, and I'm gonna heat it up. BRB. Hello. I see there are people on the live. Yay. I apologize. I apologize at the beginning of this, but I apologize if the internet connection goes in and out. We're having storms here. So, yeah, if it goes in and out, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, it's boiling. Good. All right, so that water's literally boiling hot, and I'm gonna use, since we're gonna do red 28, which is a dye. Hi Denise, hi from Malaysia. So this is a dye. Dyes are super concentrated, and I'm gonna use an eighth of a teaspoon, or maybe a little bit over an eighth of a teaspoon. I just don't want to add too much. And I'm gonna swirl it around in that hot water. And you can see it's all dissolved in there. It's dissolved real quick. Dyes are technically water soluble, but when you add them to water, they don't just dissolve. That's not what they do. They throw some attitude at you. They get clunky. They get clumpy. They just get I don't know. They get real this. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. So one of the things you can do is you can do what I just did, where I heated it up in some water and put my dyes in the water like that. But here's the risk. Like I said at the beginning, the risk is that this is not the high humidity recipe. This is an embed recipe. It's not made to withstand lots of humidity. And while I quick bloom all the time, it's been raining like cats and dogs. So, taking a risk. You guys ready for that? Hi, Elena from Canada. Yeah. I know that I asked last week, which way did y'all prefer the camera to be? And like a lot of y'all said landscape, and I'm in portrait. Dang it. But part of that's like the way that I have my camera, I couldn't find like a position for it where like you could still get the landscape and then see my face. And Lena so sweetly commented, I couldn't find the comment later to like tell you thank you for it, but like you really were sweet in your comment, and you said something about like, yeah, it's cool, but like when it's not portrait, like if we don't get to see your face, like I feel like, you know, when we're watching it, like we're getting to hang out with our friend, and then when we don't get to see your face, like we don't get that and I miss it. And I was like, stop. It made me cry. Damn. Okay. So we have our baking soda. Now normally I would let this just like run and run and run and run and run, and I would use my whisk attachment. Okay. So I would like normally let this run for maybe like a good 10 minutes to help evaporate that water out, because I don't want to deal with that water, which like I could do that, but I do have this. It's pre-blown. Might be a better idea due to the rain. You know what I'm saying? Should I? I think I should do that. I think if I try to use this, I'm like asking for trouble. Okay. So I will later just stick that on here, and I don't even have to like, I'll finish them today. But with it raining outside, it's probably not a good idea for me to like intentionally sabotage myself. Right? Roses, hi. Hi. Nectaria, 10 minutes, is that like a lot or not a lot? For like letting it sift, is that a lot? So I don't remember how much this is. I think it's 250. But we're gonna see, and I'm gonna sift it too. Even though it means I'm gonna have to wash my universal sifter out later, which makes me sad. I'm gonna sift it just to like break up any lumps in it, because I did already add to this. So like when I make embeds, I add like just a little bit of oil and either a little bit of polysorbate or a little bit of SLSA. And so for these I added polysorbate. And I find that it helps like the embeds kind of hold together better. Because man, embeds are nothing to play with. I also think, let's just completely go off script here today. I think I'll do it by hand. I think I'll mix by hand, because I think sometimes people think like, oh, she's bougie. She makes everything in her mixer, okay? But I just want you to know, I was once a commoner like yourselves. Which is from Princess Bride. I don't like actually think that you're peasants. But like, no, so like I always mixed mine by hand for like a long time. And so getting a mixer just made my life easier because I have carpal tunnel. It was a whole lot easier, like not having to like sit there and like, it's like the motion of doing this that you do when you're mixing with your hands. Like I couldn't stand it. So that's really why I use a mixer. And thankfully my carpal tunnel doesn't bother me as much when I use that. It gets like really bad during the holiday season, or like a boot camp. If there's a boot camp, I like stress myself out before a boot camp. So if there's a boot camp, I'll probably I don't know, I'll like hit the acupuncturist because I'm like cool like that. Okay, so this is 260. I'm gonna assume that it was 250 plus 10 grams of oil maybe, and like a couple grams of polysorbate. It's all making sense. So I think we're good. I'm gonna get some more water. I'm sorry, I'm like so thirsty today. Okay. Now we're gonna get to the scary part. Now you just have to be aware of the fact that bath bombs can smell fear, like they can sense fear, but like especially embeds, like they can sense fear. So if you're, you just have to be like, this is happening, we're doing this, I regret nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna measure my citric acid, and I'm gonna sift it too. Even though it's good, it's not like really, I almost never have to sift it, but there's occasionally like a couple lumps in it, especially when I get like towards the end of a bag, like this. Matt Smith says that's not water. So like, my kids have been like, Mom, when's the last time you drank water? Or I'll be like, guys, I drank a whole glass of water today. Are you proud of me? Yeah. That is water though. Okay. We're doing this. Now if I had used the pre-made mix, or the one that I did over there, I was with the quick blend, the quick bloom words. I was planning on adding some cream of tartar. I don't think I'll do that anymore though. Yeah, I don't think I'll do that. Okay, so I'm mixing. Now like citric acid and baking soda, citric acid, believe it or not, is actually slightly acidic. And baking soda, it's a neutralizer, but it's like, anyway, the two when they combine are going to work their way towards the 7 neutral. And what happens is you get a little bit of water molecule and gas that's exchanged as soon as the baking soda and the citric acid mix together. So even if I didn't add any binder to this, if I left this in my bowl and walked away, I could come back and the next day and this would be solid. So it would be like chunks. So even though it feels crumbly and stuff, it will stick together. But I'm gonna add a few sprays of water. I've got some embed makers to show you. Okay, so that part, now I'm really gonna mix this in. Now I have to get my butt in gear, okay? Because this is happening now. We're doing this. There's no going back. I've just accelerated everything. Okay. I'm looking for it to be a little bit like kinetic sand. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe one more spray of water. It's such a fine line though with embeds. It's happening. Is that a new embed maker? I have a couple new embed makers to show you guys. I'm not gonna brag or anything, but I'm gonna show you my new favorite embed maker, and you're gonna be jealous, I think. Okay, so it's getting pretty much where it's ready to go, and since I'm about to be silly and play around for a minute, I'm gonna start going. So this is my new favorite embed maker. So with this embed maker, look at this, yes. So I'm just gonna put the piece right there, the flat piece. I'm gonna fill this. Fill it, yep, fill it. Okay, fill it. All right, now I'm gonna pack it down with this little, I know, sorry, you can't see, but it's just so awesome. Okay, and then, now I have 2, which is a convenient thing because if I ever had person here helping me. Like we could be like tag teaming. We could be both going at the same time, and we could just like make so many embeds like that. Okay, I'll stop because I have embeds to make. I also have, so that was like a promotional thing that Heather did. Heather owns Chunkadust, and these embed makers are from Chunkadust, so I will definitely include a link for you guys. But she did like those on, I think, April Fools, and I was like, shut up. Like I died laughing when I saw her playing with those. Okay, so this is getting towards like kinetic sand. So like I pick it up and it like kind of shifts and moves and stuff all on its own. Okay, so this is the 7x7 embed maker. I'm just gonna like rub the mix into all them little squares. If I were not the proud owner of a Chunkadust embed maker, I could alternatively get enough embed mix to fill this pan, right, or a smaller pan, and I could just squash it flat, use like a fondant, it's like a fondant smoother. You can use like a fondant smoother, like squish them flat, do them all on this like one pan, and then I would just use like a pastry cutter and just chop them like that. Okay, so I used to be like really organized when I lay them down. Actually, I'm gonna have to do that because it's just gonna bother me. Okay, it's gonna bother me. Okay, so that's the 7x7. I also have the 10x10, which like that's gonna make 100 embeds at one time, a straight chillin'. Okay, the only thing about this guy is it's like really big, so it's a little bit harder to handle. It's a little bit harder to like, you know, maneuver. Okay, we'll go with that word. It's a little bit harder to maneuver, but it does make a crap load of bath bombs at one time, and it also makes it easier for me to do the math, because it's like, so I made some blue embeds the other night, and I did 3 rounds of this guy, like 3.5 rounds. So I was like, oh, I made 350 bath bombs. But when I'm having to multiply by 7s, look, people, I was an art major, okay? We're not multiplying by 7s. We're not doing that, okay? I'm not interested in that. I don't need that in my life today. I don't want that. I don't want none of it. Okay, so then I'm gonna take my press piece, line it up. This is where I would have like problems with like lining it up. Okay, I got it. So I'm just gonna line it up, and then I'm gonna make sure I'm pressing all the edges down. The stuff in the middle is gonna get pressed. It'll be fine. It's the edges like that I really worry about. Okay, I will press the middle just because this guy's so big. Okay, are you ready? So now I'm going to take the flat piece off. So I usually pop down one corner first and then just work my way around. There is like a flat lip on this part, and it's better if you put the flat lip on the same edge as this. I'll show you in a second when I flip this. This is the other way I do it when I'm like being really OCD. That's like so satisfying. And then I would go like this in a very organized manner. And that feels better than that. In my soul, I feel better about that choice. So yeah, pretty much it. I made some embeds, just right there. Just made that. I do have like a little bit of mix left over. We could use our single maker, and I could try to answer some questions if I see some questions. Lena says, just out of curiosity, when would you ever make just one embed like that? Is that a rhetorical question? Because I think that any time is a good time to make just one embed like this. Yeah. I will go through though and see if there were questions. So she made these for April Fools, and it was hilarious. So anyway, let's see if there are questions. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, you can also use silicone, or the little ice cube trays where they're like, they look like this. There's ice cube trays. There's also like a grate that you can use for your air vents or something like that. Like if somebody knows what I'm talking about. I've never actually used them, but I was in Home Depot one time and I saw somebody walking by with one, and I was like, oh, it's like a unicorn. Like I'd heard of this thing, and now it's there. So I don't know what they're called, but it's like a grate like this, and you like just press it down. So, you know, if you don't want something that you have to wang jangle and mess with, then that's fine. You know, you can do like other ways with it. So but this is the way I prefer to make it. So, you know, but yeah, you can use, you know, all kinds of little molds. Oh, Nectaria says that there's different colors feel different. Yeah, I'm actually experimenting with like different dyes and like what are their payout, like what's the payout for different dye loads, and like how much would you actually need to color an entire bath, because it's like it's very subjective. And so like the ratio I was using for, I don't remember like it was the blue. I made some other blue ones, and like they were so potent. I was like, that's what started me on it, because I was like, I used the same amount that I used for everything else, and those blue ones were like so deeply colored. And so yeah, here we can do a little, well, not that one, don't do that. We can test one of them and see like the color of this though. So like once they dry, you would like drop them in the bathtub and they'll release color. So because they have polysorbate in them, like I said, that's why it gets a little bit foamy, because polysorbate is a mild surfactant. It's an emulsifier, so it can act as a mild surfactant. And so that's why the foam is there. If you don't want them to be foamy at all, then just don't include a surfactant in it, and that will solve that problem for you. Yeah, I'll go back and answer any questions that I missed from the beginning, and I'll add links to everything, obviously. But that's pretty much it today. Just a quick face-to-face Friday. Bye guys, happy making.